Woo! Oh, shit. I forgot my coffee. Bam, we're live. Maybe when my wife wakes up, she'll bring it to me. I can see it. I can see it over there across the room. Just can't get to it. What if I play you guys something and then run up and grab my coffee? I'm really impressed by this CrossFit Games Instagram account. I don't know what's going on over here, but this thing is something else. Oh, this. Did you guys see this? This thing's nuts. Look at this. Oh, is this? No, yeah, this. Did you guys see this? This is wild. It's probably the most creative thing. This is incredible. I watched this like 5 times this morning. I really enjoyed it. Okay, I'll run and get my coffee while I play this.
It's a movie. Red carpet, the lights going through me. Anytime I arrive, it's the new me. Real diamonds on my neck, there's groupies. Flashing lights. All these things come to me. Dressed in price. All my rings got weight to it. You feel that? You feel that? Already it's a classic. Classic. If I drop any day, it's a classic. Any wave that I'm on, it's a classic. Hey, you heard that? Classic.
Good, right? Crazy good. Holy smokes. They killed it. That took some work. The timing, the music, that's got a million ugly cuts, amazing cuts, beautiful cuts. The sound down. I can't control that. Sorry. I cannot control that. Tyson Bagent, special guest for 25.3. Oh, is that announced somewhere? Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay. Wow. Oh, my God. Another great video. Holy shit. I haven't seen that yet. Let me play that. That's good.
You have a backup plan if you didn't get the shot in the NFL.
Yeah, I was going to basically just CrossFit my life away, get as ripped and jacked as I possibly could. I love CrossFit. It has completely changed my whole entire life.
You take a 10-year-old kid whose dad owns a CrossFit gym. You see him grow up in the gym.
It has made me physically able to endure, both mentally and physically, the ebbs and flows of a football game and a football season.
CrossFit, it gave this guy a level of confidence, being pushed to excel when it becomes every single day of that being a part of our life.
I was a D2 quarterback that pretty much defied every odd that they had stacked against me, and now I'm a professional football player.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Truly, the best part is that, I mean, for me, is that how authentic it is. I mean, I got to see Tyson from a little kid, little kid, when I was hanging out with his dad making the movie Pulling John, and then for years and years afterwards, I was lucky enough to be great friends with the Bagent family. And Tyson, I remember when Travis opened a CrossFit gym. Travis is very close with Greg Glassman. And wow, holy cow. Good morning, Claire. Good morning. Good morning. Claire Bay's in the house. Craig Richards, what's up? CrossFit finally leaning into the legit stuff about time. What's crazy is there's nothing forced about that. I remember when I did the Charles Barkley piece, there was nothing forced about that either, but he was just trying CrossFit. And it's just cool to see someone like Tyson who grew up with it. It's been, part of his life ever since he's been a little kid. And you know what they say? Those CrossFit people do everything better. I've told you the story about my buddy who buys real estate around the country, and how he finds his broker and his loan people is he basically he'll call a CrossFit gym in a random city that he wants to buy some real estate in, and he'll be like, "Hey, who's your real estate broker? Or who's your real estate agent who trains at the gym?" And they'll give him the name, and then I don't know what you call the person who lends money, a loan broker. And he uses the ones he finds in the CrossFit gym because already, that shows that they're hard workers, overachievers, and give a shit. So I like the way your hair is sticking up. I just noticed that too. I don't know what my hair is doing. I just got out of the shower, cleaned my ears, and bam, here I am. Last night, I watched this crazy documentary. It was a reenactment at Greg's house, and I got about I don't know, 30 minutes into it, I wanted to throw up. It was so crazy. It was about a group of 5 people who get on a boat. I want to say they get in the boat in Maine or Maryland, and they have to deliver this 58-foot yacht sailboat to Florida. And it talks about how shit goes wrong. And holy shit, it's a crazy story. I made it about halfway through. I don't even know if I made it halfway through. I should have cried. I was more disgusted. I made it about halfway through, and I had to walk away from the TV set. I'm like, hey, dude, I can't watch this anymore. I was giving me fucking anxiety. Greg told me the craziest parts were still to come. Right when there's a lady narrating it, and she said, at this point, everything went from horrible to nightmare. I was like, hey, dude, I don't know if I can watch anymore. Can you just tell me what happened? It was savage. Maybe he'll come on and we'll talk about it a little bit. But the boat basically sunk. It got thrashed around in the open sea so bad that the boat sunk. And then they were stuck on a 13-foot dinghy with 5 people. And the sharks and the crazy dude, he told me at one point, like 4 days in, one of the guys tries to rape one of the women on a boat. Imagine it's a boat. The boat's so small that they're shoulder to shoulder. But then one of the guys tries to rape one of the girls who's mortally wounded. She has a cut on her leg and she's bleeding out. And this guy gets the harebrained idea to have sex with her. And so the other people have to beat this guy off the girl. It's just dudes. It's just dudes. Yeah, I wish it was Finding Nemo. I should have watched Finding Nemo. What's it called? When Greg comes on, he'll remember. I don't remember what it's called. It is nuts. It is absolutely batshit crazy nuts. Why would he even be thinking about sex? Because that's what dudes do. 3 days, no food, no water. And they're still thinking about it. He said at one point, one of the girl who the guy tries to rape dies in the boat because she has a cut on her leg that's super deep, and she dies in the boat. And they're so thirsty that they want to drink the water that's accumulated in the bottom of the boat, but they can't because the water's polluted because it's got all of her shit in it, her dead, because her body's been rotting in the boat where the water's pooling. So they can't even drink that water. Oh, here's Greg. I'll ask him. Hey, dude. Good morning.
Hey, buddy. How do I turn that fucking
this thing
camera thing off?
Oh, the Zoom thing?
Yeah.
See in the very top of your screen, there should be a green camera or a white camera.
How do I get that off?
Click on that, and then it should open up some options.
It does.
I don't know what option. It's not zooming now. Was it zooming in and out on you, like breathing?
Yeah, it default goes to it. It ought to be like it's so integrated with the bowels of your whatever barnyard, whatever this thing is.
I'm gonna start calling it barnyard.
I mean, it's from Chrome. Let me check. Whatever. Hi. Hey,
what was the name of that movie that I only made it through halfway through last night?
They'd have survived if they'd stayed in the boat or some fucking thing.
Oh yeah, they. I'm gonna find it. I want to make other people suffer for that. They would have survived if they stayed in the boat. Oh, here it is. When did this come out? Oh, it's only been out for 4 months. Here it is, guys. This is it right here. I need to get this girl on the show. Oh my God. I thought about it.
She may have since passed away. Read through the comments. But she was wildly articulate and a hero.
It's only been around for 4 months. Could she have passed away already?
I don't know. Look her up. Let's look her up. Here, there's a Wikipedia entry on her.
What's her name? You remember? I can find it. I was telling the story about how the guy tried to have sex with the girl in the boat, and someone in the comments said, "Why would a guy do that?" Because he's a guy.
Was it who asked?
Just someone in the comments.
Sex of the individual.
Oh man, I don't see her name. Oh, maybe it says in the show notes. Let me see.
It does.
Yeah, I would love to have her on. Anyway, it's called "They Could Have Survived If They Didn't Leave the Boat." It's at a account called Documentary Central. It has 2 million views in 4 months. 5 crew are forced to take refuge in a 12-foot inflatable dinghy with no food and no water, and they soon deteriorate. Can they keep the tiny boat afloat? Have you watched any other documentaries from this channel?
Yeah, you know, it's just something. They got me figured out.
They got some good ones. They got Drug Lords of Mexico, Eyewitness the Autopsy of JFK. Yeah, there's some wild ones. How ICE Destroyed My Life. 21 Pregnant and Addicted. It looks like their station recently has really exploded.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it was well done for the most part. You know, it's still kind of cheap, but well done.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, that's what I That's what I thought. I thought, wow, they did a really good job of reenacting it. Someone took a lot of effort.
I don't like when they hit the camera with a pillow to show that you're crazy.
Yeah, I didn't make it to that part. When the boat falls off that wave and the side hits and the window down below breaks.
Yeah.
Did that shock you that that could happen to a boat? That they wouldn't.
It happened in Italy recently, right? That boat sank in a squall in a matter of minutes.
Another yacht?
Yeah. And I know she was instrumental in leading an effort to get boats filled with, I don't know, closed cell foam or something. I don't know the technology. But she's of the view they shouldn't be sinkable.
Famous boat lady yacht sink. Did you find her name?
I'll find it. You want me to do that right now? Watch this.
Oh, what was the name of the boat? It was called the Trash Can.
Yes, that's what we go. We go the Trash Can.
Deborah Scaling Kiley.
Yes.
Oh, she's still alive. Oh no, she died. She died. So even though they published that 4 months ago, she died in 2012. She was the first American woman to complete the white-bread round-the-world race in 1982. She famously survived a boating accident off the coast of North Carolina, which became the basis of the book Albatross.
Hey, Seb, you think that those were actors maybe playing
the real, like they had actors playing in the boat and then also actors like doing the talking?
Yeah. Maybe
I don't know that if they did, they found a good one because that really looks like her.
I thought it was
right. I mean, that looks like her. Scaling and the only other survivor of the crew named Brad Kavanaugh were accused by passing a Soviet cargo ship. I wonder how she died. Scaling Kiley died of an undisclosed cause on August 13, 2012 in Mexico, where she had recently moved. Oh, she had 2 children, Marka Kiley and a son, John Quattro Kiley, the 4th, who died in a drowning accident. Oh, she had a hard life. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh my goodness.
Oh well, I mean, this isn't gonna have a lot of relevance for anyone that hasn't seen it.
That's okay.
But I think yeah, fuck the audience. I think it was at least as gripping as Jaws.
I'll tell you what, I was getting crazy anxiety watching it. And I can't remember the last time I got anxiety watching something.
You left before the good part. I mean, I told Rita, that it's Maggie's mom, everyone, that like, well, I learned something from it. And she's what? And I go, I don't know if I want to tell you, but what I learned is that if someone falls out of the lifeboat, the sharks will try to get the rest of the people out of the lifeboat.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
They're smart enough to know that what fell over was outstanding. Oh, that was her.
She's an incredible physical specimen. I mean, she looks like a powerful woman.
I think she was the first female to sail around the world by herself. Is that right?
Yeah.
In a race.
Holy cow. That's a shame she died.
Yeah, that's definitely who was in the film.
So they must have, maybe they had the interviews and then recently they added the dramatization.
Yeah, I think that the story's been told repeatedly on different networks, and
she's got a 5 head. She's really attractive. If you see the movie, you'll know what I mean. She's really attractive. She looks like a healthy, strong, powerful woman.
She was.
Yeah. Man, oh man. Yeah, it was already really, really gnarly, and then and we were sitting on the couch watching it in your office, and I just remember the narrator goes, and then it went from really, really no, not the narrator. She goes, and then it went from really, really bad to a nightmare situation. And I'm like, okay, it's 9 p.m. I'm going to bed before I fucking have a fucking heart attack on your couch. I don't remember things affecting me like that until I had kids.
It was weird when the guys drank seawater and then decided they saw land and were going to walk to shore.
I didn't make it to that part.
Like, I don't know what the right thing to do is there.
Oh, you mean like to hold them on or let them jump?
Yeah.
Colt Powers, Greg's thoughts on being at 25.2. Oh, but we didn't go to 25.2. That's the open announcement.
Dave gave us the East Coast launch time, so we would miss it.
We got there and it was over. We got there 3 hours late. It was 45 minutes from the house. You can't drive further to an event than the length of the event.
Oh, I don't even mind that. Remember when I did 11 of 14 regionals in a week?
Yes.
I was in Toronto for 12 hours.
Yes, I
8
remember.
hours event and out.
I remember that. And then we went to one in Ohio or something too.
Yeah, that was part of that Copenhagen thing with the after party that we left before.
Yeah. I just remember there was one regional we flew into. You took 2 steps in the door and then you sat there and talked to people. You didn't make it past 2 feet inside the door.
Toronto, I never left the foyer or atrium or whatever you call that.
Yeah.
Never got really into the building.
Yeah. And that's where you met. Do you remember the 2 black guys? You met Chandler Smith and his brother, the 2 really cool Army guys.
I do. I met them there.
Oh, you met at one of those. At one of those, I just remember you just because that was the first time I met them too, and you just walked in the door. That was the guy in one. He had to drop out of the games one year because he got his finger chopped off or something.
I remember what else happened at that year in Toronto is we met an affiliate who had acquired a member's capital as investment for the affiliate, and it turned out he was a notorious biker gang.
Oh yes.
And the pressure was on. They were getting worked, and they'd gone to attorneys, and attorneys had told them there was nothing they could really do. And so we maybe that part's not right. I might be conflating a case because we had done something similar elsewhere. But we'd just done a seminar for the RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police. They're what, FBI? And so we just called them up, and it just took a phone call. And Home Slice got fucked. He like went to jail and shit.
They got the biker gang to stop bugging the gym.
The problem member was removed from the community.
Membership has its privileges. Hey, are you tripping on how quickly? Do you remember all that talk about Joe Biden not being able to close the border? I can't close the border. They won't let me close the border. Congress won't let me close the border. I can't get the border closed. I can't get people. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, with no help from Congress, our border's closed.
Yeah. But no one believed that.
Not even anyone on the left. Like you don't think like so. The residents of Santa Cruz, California, didn't believe that.
Yeah. No, I think they smell the fruit of an open border. Their image is that if we let poor and downtrodden people, a couple of things happen. One is it kind of elevates my status. You know, even though you have nothing, you have more than those people. And that kind of feels good. Right. And then there's the misapprehension that being downtrodden, lower off than even you are, that there's sure to be Democrats.
Because those are the people who get the handouts, and of course they're going to keep voting for the government that sends a monthly check.
That's the hope, and I think it may even, in some short-term sense, work. But too many of those people named Garcia and Rivera and Hernandez start successful companies and have multiple trucks and employees and buildings and homes.
Yeah.
And then they don't want anything to do with that bullshit.
Right.
They probably also actively pursue citizenship along the way.
Right.
Like I don't suspect right now that ICE is yanking people out of Safeway checker uniforms and throwing them over the border.
Right. Well, you saw that guy in LA recently was killed. Miguel Sanchez, a hardworking, honest fucking American, was killed in LA by two illegals. Came into his house raw. Oh no, they were stealing a catalytic converter from his neighbor's house. And Miguel Sanchez came outside to stop this Guatemalan and Ecuadorian dude or Nicaraguan dude, and Miguel Sanchez got killed. It's a fucking sad story, man. I mean, going outside to stop your neighbors from getting their catalytic converter stolen. Hey, one of the guys that they caught who killed Miguel Sanchez had already been arrested 12 times in the United States, and he's an illegal. 12 times he'd been arrested in the United States and he was an illegal. And the 13th arrest was because he killed a guy. While someone's under your car with a fucking pipe cutter trying to take a piece of metal that they can sell for $20. It's sad. It's really, really, really sad. I want to see if I can find the exact... There's another interesting story breaking this morning. Do you remember the scandal in Los Angeles where those rich people were paying, like a rich person would pay a college to get their kid into school? Like they would say their kid was like a superstar, like sail girl, but she'd never been on a sailboat in her life. Lori something was behind it.
It was that facilitator was the guy, and he turned state's witness on all his clients. He was running. It was kind of funny. He was running the professional, arguably criminal activity. And see, I wasn't bothered by that. You know, you fund a laboratory at the medical school, and your kids all get in, and they put your
Right.
name on the building.
Right.
It's troublesome, but I like go to jail. It's kind of nuts.
Right. And I remember kind of thinking that too, like who wouldn't do something like that for their kid if you have the money to get your kid into a college. In 2020, Laughlin and her husband, Mosimo, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit fraud in connection with 2019 college admission bribery scandal. She was sentenced to 2 months in prison.
Hey, Sebi, you know who I think has made one of the best social rehabilitations of all time? Just an amazing thing, really. Even beyond, like, a Johnny Cash, because I think he, if I got the story right, went to prison before he was famous. But think of Martha Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
He was, even when she was popular, she wasn't liked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was popular with a crowd that wasn't in. And then she went to federal prison, and she came out more likable.
Yeah, and she hangs out with Snoop Dogg now.
Yeah, and black people like her.
Yeah.
And
that was for trading. Some trading. She traded some stocks.
No, I think it was tax evasion, wasn't it?
And she didn't even fight it. She just pled guilty, did her time, and got out, right?
Yeah, with federal charges, you're taking a huge chance on fighting it. I think a lot of innocent people plead guilty to federal charges. Dude, they'll accuse you of something horrible, and you'll be facing 45 years. And if you want to say, yeah, I did it, you'll be done, and they'll give you 6 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can see, you don't have to be in that system long before you see the quality of justice, as in there is none.
Well, I want to go back to the Newsom thing. Newsom just he has a podcast, and he did an interview with Charlie Kirk. And
did he really?
Yeah. And Charlie Kirk was questioning him, and Newsom says something about going to college and about how he got 960 on his SAT, but somehow he was able to get in with some sort of baseball or scholarship. And now people are sniffing that out because Newsom graduated from Santa Clara University in 1989 with a Bachelor's of Science in Political Science. Afterwards, he founded the boutique winery Plump Jack Group in Oakville, California, with billionaire heir and family friend Gordon Getty as an investor. And so now people are sniffing around, being like, "Oh, did Newsom get into that college with a baseball scholarship when he didn't even play baseball?" It's an interesting story breaking this morning. I wonder if him having a podcast and flapping his jaw is going to backfire on him.
Wait a minute, a 960 on the SAT, isn't that in an era when 1600 was the magic number?
Yeah, it's below average.
He's as stupid as he sounds.
Daniel Getty, Gladwell's book says schools like Harvard have more sports than any other school, so they can get donations from rich parents.
Well, there you have it. Doesn't that make obvious sense?
Maybe Nancy Pelosi would be cool too if she spent some time in jail.
I wholly agree.
Hey, before I pull this up, I want to ask you something.
Wait, how did that come up?
But we'll find out in just a second.
I mentioned
on the show. So for years now, I've been watching Nancy Pelosi's mouth do weird shit. Like tons of weird shit. And I always thought she was on some sort of amphetamines because the guys in college who are always doing this stuff were always on amphetamines. You know what I mean? They start doing weird shit with their jaws. But recently, someone said, I don't know if it was Candace Owens or someone said that that's her dentures. She doesn't pin her dentures down, and so she's playing with her dentures in her mouth, moving them around. Do you know what the story is behind that?
I may have just heard it. I wish I had.
Okay. The gymnastic life. Greg, how did you get connected with Doug Wilson? By the way, I watched another one of his videos in your living room yesterday. I followed him for 10 years. He's a good dude.
I'm a very fortunate man in that I've got a couple of friends that I think can get just about anyone I'd like to talk to on the phone. And it was one of the coolest things about being in charge of CrossFit. But I heard one of his videos and I found him to be, I know it was scripted, but still the delivery and the pitch, it was intriguing to me. I knew he was correct. And I also knew that that was an unpopular position. And that's a hard thing to do. To be correct against an overwhelming majority on any issue it takes a special sort to do that. There's very, very few people that honestly don't give a fuck what other people think about what they think about things. Very few. And no liberal. Every liberal is ultimately concerned with the general perception of how they perceive, think, and act. It's very much a theatrical presentation. The whole of what you'd think would be a rational deal. That is a political philosophy, a well thought out a political value system. But it's not for the left. When the lights turn off, they're not Democrats, and when everyone's asleep, they have to be talking and explaining to you and showing. You have to be signaling. I remember when Bob Dole was asked about the card in his pocket, he didn't want to talk about it. I think it had the Lord's Prayer on one side and the 10th Amendment to the Constitution on the other. Mm. And he wouldn't explain what was in his card, and he looked at it often. And it was like none of your business, And it was the press corps that figured out that when they looked at pictures of Bill Clinton, they were showing this was a Nova, but they had a light table out. And they were looking at pictures of Bill Clinton, and there's only like 12 poses, and they attached lines to each one. And there was the "I feel your pain." And he goes through these things, and he does them to you, and he goes through a line. And you get one of those 12 expressions, and then they're going, watch this scene right there. Watch. He's not going to let go of this guy until he gets the visual signal of love. And you see him. He's not letting go, won't let go. And then the guy melts, and he's fuck you. He goes to the next guy and does his thing. He gets number 6. This guy gets number 4. The press corps says you shoot him for an hour, and you'll never need to shoot him again.
Wow.
Bob Dole, on the other hand, wouldn't talk about things you'd think he'd talk about. He didn't want to share his views on religion. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Do you admire that, or do you think there's a reason for that? Or?
Midwestern, whatever the hell he was. Yeah. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of middle America that lives by what they think is right or wrong, not cool or not.
Bill Maher, as talented as he is, I feel like betrays himself a lot. Like he just straight up says stuff like, hey, we're never going to win if we don't come to the center on this, instead of like saying, hey, this is like, he doesn't argue the values of ideas. He just straight up admits, hey, we need to just pick what's popular. We need to wear our pants like this because it will get us more votes.
Yeah, he's growing and evolving as a thinker at about a quarter, or maybe a seventh of the rate of RFK Jr. Give him 5 more years. I mean, if you put the red pill up your rectum instead of swallow it, it takes longer. I don't know what the deal is, but it is a matter of intellectual maturation. My father always said liberalism was arrested intellectual development. How do you like that for a pronouncement? Arrested intellectual development. It's no less. It's no more. It's what it is.
I watched this video in your living room on the big screen yesterday. This is a great one if anyone wants to get a quick little introduction to Doug Wilson. It says, shall I explain what's going on? And he's talking about how there are a few Christians now in the government, but it's not a Christian government, but there are Christians in the government. and so there's some Christian influence. It's a great video, and he basically says the Democrats are going to go away, and that there will be then basically just two parties, two versions of the Republican. I find that hard to believe, but that's his take on it.
I think the crowd at National Review represents a different wing of republicanism than the Trump crowd.
Say that one more time.
I think the crowd, the Rich Lowry and friends, I think the crowd over at National Review is a different wing of the Republican Party.
I don't remember where I heard this, but someone said, and I've never heard of this party, but someone was saying that Trump's not really a Republican, that he's part of the Transformation Party. I didn't even know there was a Transformation Party.
I don't know what the hell that is either. Sounds like some made up shit.
Yeah.
He's a bit odd from the Republican perspective, I think. Without a doubt. For any kid.
He definitely doesn't feel like he's part of the machine.
They threw him into the chipper, and it exploded, and he popped out bigger and stronger.
Yeah.
They thought for sure that they would have him incarcerated from multiple charges in multiple jurisdictions. I mean, the guys was convicted of 34 felonies.
I think they yeah, I think they should. I think in defense of the left, I think that they should be terrified. If I came at someone as hard as they came at Trump, you know, charging him for something that no one in the United States has ever been charged for, you know, then there was, you know, regarding the he gave the hush money from the wrong account, $134,000 from the wrong account, when we know Congress spent $17 million last year using taxpayer hush money, and that it's not illegal to pay people hush money, but he just paid it from the wrong account. And then there was the other thing with the bank in Europe. I forget. I think it's the German bank or something. You know, he borrowed all that money from them based on the valuation of Mar-a-Lago, paid the money back. It was his 21st loan he had ever taken from that bank. And they charged him with like lying on his loan application. I mean, these, and they're trying to end his business and end his career. I would be, and then of course the 51 security people who signed the document saying that the laptop was fake. It was a Russian
collusion, impeachment.
Yeah, man, those people should. If I was those people, I would be afraid. That's going pretty hard at someone. That's not just TPing their house, you know what I mean, or saying that they're fat or saying that they're crazy. That's a really that's brutal. And they would have kids.
In my litigation against the NSCA, the bioethics expert, Javi Moram, she went on a kind of a lecture tour talking about CrossFit versus National Strength and Conditioning Association. And she said that it was a unique case because scientific misconduct, fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism were typically the result within an institution of a miscreant bad player or two, a professor and an assistant. But she said this was the first documented case of an entire institution being given over to the fabrication and falsification, to the scientific misconduct. That it was it was core mission effort. I believe something like that, exempting agents in the fields following real crime. I believe that the leadership of the FBI was corrupt in that manner. That they were making it their mission to alter politics. And I believe that trumped up, love the term, charges were used to take him out of the running, all in the name of defending democracy, which has such a perfectly liberal, Orwellian, nonsensical, gender-affirming healthcare bullshit thing to it. Yeah, it ought to make you somewhere deep inside where you're not tainted with your ideology. You ought to be both ashamed and laughing. It's so fucking bad. You should be highly suspicious of all those people that go on and on about democracy. It seems as though that is the word that is floated ad nauseum by those that are committed to taking your freedoms from you.
Mm.
We have a political system that is probably most remarkable in its protection of the individual from democracy. You have the right to free speech, not popular speech, free speech. Go through the whole list, look at it.
That's a really great point that a lot of people I don't think get. Hopefully I wrote down the time code on that and I can clip that and put that up. Let me see if I can paraphrase it, but that we have a system in place that protects the individual from democracy.
Our founding fathers had two fears: state religion and the mob, democracy. She's a witch. How many think she's a witch and should burn? All the hands go up and you're on fire. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
Intelligent people aren't impressed with 9 out of 10 dentists recommend, insist, or the law says.
I don't know if you recall this. It's a little fuzzy to me, but as I recall, going back to the Trump thing and retribution, I recall this in late 1993, the United States learned that terrorists had attempted to assassinate Bush Sr. during his visit to Kuwait. And that was reports. There was a strong case that Saddam Hussein directed the plot against Bush. And I remember Bush Jr., this Bush II, saying something like when he sent in the troops into Iraq, saying, "This is because you tried to kill my daddy." And I mean, you know, I know some people don't believe that there was actual attempts on Trump's life, but I do believe that that letter was signed by those 51 intel agents. And man, and they went after his kids. You have to assume that at some point, if you walk too close to the edge of the Grand Canyon, the Trumps are going to push you in. You can't do that to people. Newsom was a standout baseball player in high school, recruited to play at Santa Clara, but never played an official game. He quit prior to making varsity. Yeah, that's what those scandals were all about. There were kids like getting into scholarships to Harvard on the sailing team, and then they never sailed a day in their life. It'll be crazy if he goes on that podcast and it ends up being his downfall.
One of the girls had someone yank a C2 good 2K, and they filmed her sitting at it with that number.
Oh, like the one girl got off and another girl jumped on?
Yeah, like Jason Khalipa rode for her, and then they put her on sweating.
Oh.
And she went to USC or some fucking thing. Is he still around? Is he still doing anything?
Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got actually this really cool. He's got like this cool thing going down. He's got this new tagline. It's like train, prepare, protect, or something. And he does it every morning at 5:30 a.m. Somewhere in Palo Alto or Los Gatos. For the last 2 years, he rolls his truck up to a parking lot, you know, like at a Walmart or something. And men have been coming to train with him for free every morning at 5:30 a.m. And I think the group is big now. I think he has like 200 people every morning.
So
and,
like, is he got a gym still?
I don't know if he still has a gym, but he's in this really like hardcore service era of his life. You know what I mean? Like something is, you know, he got his brown belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He trains like a maniac. He spends a lot of time with his kids. At least that's what it looks like from the outside. And it just and I don't see him. I don't see him selling anything anymore. I don't see him peddling anything. It looks like he had some sort of like hey, like reinvent himself. Like, hey, I need like he's trying to figure out what it means to be a man, I think. And it's pretty I've been enjoying watching it from afar.
Good. I mean, if he got comfortable not chasing silly dreams with the wife's family money, he could just live comfortably and do cool shit, you know?
Yeah, he seems like to me like he's doing really cool shit. And he sent me a few texts inviting me out, and I looked at the picture of all the guys, and all those guys look like they could like take my lunch money with their eyes closed. But it's a pretty cool. He seems really happy. His daughter and his son are healthy.
Flash mob kind of deal.
Yeah, kind of. But it's it looks like it's every morning at some ridiculous time. Every time I see it, it's dark outside, and it's free, and he's just I think he's just in a really hardcore service part of his life. So I admire
that. Is it like a law enforcement thing or?
No, I don't think so. It's more like a men's group. It's like, hey, you men out there, stop. Like he's basically pushing up against the mob. Like he wants men to be strong, have guns, know how to fight, make money for their family. Like I think he's really embraced this whole the family unit, perspective. Like maybe he missed that, like so many men of my generation missed that, and he's just.
What was it? Promise Keeper or Oath Keepers?
I'm not sure, but it's something like that. And he's just based, and it's basically, it's CrossFit, but with, and I think he uses a lot of like sandbags, like stuff that he can throw in the back of his truck. Wrong. Bill Maher is willing to take what he believes and concede some of those values to reach agreements. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Bill Maher's identity is so twisted up in his liberalism.
Pat, have you ever heard him in any engagement do kind of that dialectic where there's a thesis, an antithesis, and a synthesis? I've never seen him engage anyone on that level. I would say that you're wrong just on the face of it. But entirely not his style. Entirely not his style. It would be more true of a William F. Buckley on firing line. You'd see something even where some of those were rather brutal exchanges. You could see movement. I've never seen Bill do anything of that sort, and I like him. I think he's funny.
Yeah, he is funny.
But I think he's got his on one foot he's got his socks on and his shoes, and on the other foot I think his shoes on and his socks over that, and his shoelaces are in his mouth. And it's just kind of fun to watch him stumble and struggle, and I get more out of him than he's given to anybody, I think.
Manny C. Serrano, the issue with Bill Maher is that he hates Trump. I do think that there is some serious truth to that in this regard. I think that there's people who've hated on Trump so much that they can never get Trump on their show. And I think Bill Maher's probably a little bummed that he's burned that bridge. I'm sure that he's tried to get Trump on and he can't. And you have to remember, he's definitely an entertainer. And it's weird that he's on CNN. Pat Lang, speaking of RFK, Greg, thoughts on his measles vaccine flip-flop in Texas? I don't know anything about his flip-flop on measles vaccine.
Yeah, I didn't hear him flip-flop.
And Pat, the kid,
I also don't know the specifics of the vaccine or measles. I would want to know more about measles, more about the vaccine, and more about what RFK said. I've heard some, but none of it sounded like that.
Pat, that story in Texas where the kid died with measles, I dug into that, and there are unsubstantiated but seem like valid rumors that the kid who died, they brought the kid into the hospital with measles, and then the first thing they did was give him the MMR vaccine. And if that's true, then the jury's out that the measles killed him. You don't give someone a vaccine when they're in a full-blown case of some sort of fucking ailment like that. We're homeschooling the gymnastics life. This is the same character that asked you about, Doug Wilson. We're homeschooling our 6 kids starting next year. Congratulations. Would you recommend the Critical Thinking Company curriculum or something else? Also, any other advice? 6 kids. Dang.
Yeah, I've been trying to talk with people. I guess yes is the easy answer, but I see it like this. I feel like, at least in my case, the curriculum is my own, and the references are that I'm using, the resources, maybe better word, that we're using for this, are somewhat varied, and almost everything I see out of the Critical Thinking Company would be an outstanding use. Their publishing is consistent with my position that your curriculum should be skill-based to all extents possible. And I have this mental model of cognitive development that has the absent-minded physicist on one end of a continuum, and the Jeopardy and the absent-minded physicist who can't find his car keys on one end, and then the other end of the continuum, I've got the Jeopardy champion who may in fact have a low IQ. At the point that you have an uncanny appetite for trivia, what I've noticed is that your cognitive skills are seriously impaired.
And when you say cognitive, what do you mean? Your ability to
problem solve,
okay,
to analyze, to create, to invent,
as opposed to just it just all becomes defending your position as opposed to learning new things. I know that's a little off, but that's where I feel like a lot of people lose the critical thinking skills. They want to win the debate instead of learn something new.
Yeah, I'm more impressed. Geez, how do you even say it? I feel like someone that memorizes the first 1,000 names in the Manhattan phone directory is wasting their life. I'm about as impressed as that as I am being the world's hacky sack champion. Or a world juggling champion.
I've been trying to understand this, what you've been saying. You've been sharing this a lot with me over the past year. And the way I've sort of learned to understand it is you're okay with people understanding or memorizing, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, because with that memorization, that can take you then to the next level of math. And that next level of math will be miserable if you don't memorize that. But memorizing the first 1,000 names in the dictionary or the first 1,000 names in the phone book gets you nothing. You're not parlaying that into a next level or higher level of thinking.
Correct.
So okay.
In fact, there's less memory work in mathematics than in any discipline. And the uncomfortableness of getting 7 + 8 is 15 or 9 × 7 is 63, just like on some deep brain level, what that buys me in fluidity and looking at other concepts and to get into where the beauty of mathematics is. It's not at 7 + 8 is 15. But absent that, you're handicapped. And so there's inordinate benefit to the Japanese-like timed drill. And one of my kids has fought that magnificently, and I've won. Miss Riley was determined to not learn multiplication tables. And much to her chagrin, she has. I told you I had that great moment with her the other day where she was up at the board adding fractions with them, like denominators, finding the lowest common denominator. She stood there and she's, oh my God. I go, what? Because her attitude had been bad all day. She goes, I totally get it, and it's really easy. And it was interesting because what she saw was a pattern, and not the underlying theory, but a pattern. And the theory, understanding the theory, will come from that. People don't understand that, but it's we don't learn from the abstract to the concrete. It's not how it goes. Kind of moving on to a different subject here, but the critical thinking company's material is outstanding. Their balanced math, their beginning reading stuff, the phonics, it's all outstanding.
My suggestion would, I don't have too many ideas on what you should be teaching them, but here in a few minutes, my kids will get up and they will, without question, grab their bags and sit down at a table and start doing their work. And a matter of fact, if let's say for some reason I interrupt them while they're doing their work, I'm like, hey, do you guys want to do this? They'll say, no, I need to finish this. And what that is that's just relentless, habitual. Every morning, my wife, they have to sit there and they have to do their work. And now it's just in their pattern, and it's so much in their psyche that if they don't do it, they can't enjoy the rest of the day. Like if I ask them to leave the house before they're done with their work for the day, they don't have fun. They're thinking about it all day. And whatever you do, don't break. Get them into that pattern, into that routine. Just get them into that fucking routine. Don't let it slip. Sevi, he was convicted. I agree, he was convicted. If he wasn't elected, he would be facing time. Okay, I'll give you that too. Lucky for him, he can pardon himself. Why should anyone be terrified?
Charges.
Pat, they used a law that they created and therefore had never been used on anyone else before. It was a victimless crime. I'm not arguing anything. I'm not arguing anything against what you're saying. I'll give you all of that. Do you not think for 1 second that it was lawfare? Do you not think for how
Trey Gowdy says that when he was a federal prosecutor, there's no way that case would have stood. There's no way that all of them, the charges against Trump, and he was echoing what Jonathan Wu and Jonathan Turley, of Georgetown and UC Berkeley, what those law professors were saying about the well, there are a number of problems in the case with jurisdiction, so many problems, and they were legal problems, technical problems, but it looked to them like a politically motivated prosecution that didn't have legal merits. All right. And Trey Gowdy said he felt the same thing of the Hunter Biden case. That he said that he saw lots of felons that ended up in possession of guns. And it was even in South Carolina, it was typically a slap on the wrist with the kind of time passed, all the particulars of the case. He doesn't think there'd be a prosecution coming out of that district in federal court in South Carolina. I understand that. I don't think that I was bothered by Hilton. What's her name? Her jail sentence for
the New York lady, not Fannie Mae, but Letitia James.
No, Hilton, the Hilton heiress.
Oh,
I forget her first name, but she went to jail on a drunk driving charge.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Conrad Hilton's granddaughter, right? And the particulars of the case was that she got more time than anyone had gotten in years and years and years for the particulars of what she'd gone through. And in the end, it was found out that the prosecutor's wife had wrecked a county-owned car drunk and been escorted away. And my presumption was the Hilton people figured that out. He lost his job and she got prosecuted.
Oh. It's not Paris Hilton, is it?
That's Paris, yeah.
Oh, she went to jail?
Right? Don't I have my story straight?
He had been sentenced. I don't see it. I don't see it. Conrad Hilton arrested for alleged car theft in Los Angeles.
No. Paris Hilton served 23 days in jail in 2007 after violating her probation from a previous DUI charge, which she described as a traumatic experience. So she went to jail, got put into the system, and people closest to that said this is highly unusual for what she was charged with. Never seen this before. Well, that ended up to be the personal, political, and financial ruin of the asshole that did that to her. I don't think the rich guy should get a worse term than the poor guy, and I'm really bothered by the way the court rules that the people that are there with attorneys and wearing suits and haircuts get completely different treatment much earlier in the day, much better and quicker justice than do the people that were there in the orange suits. You ever seen that?
Yeah. You mean
you're sitting there with your attorney, so hi, Mr. Matosi, and the attorney, and then Mr. Matosi go, hi, I'm here today with Greg Glassman, who's got himself into, oh, hi, Mr. Glassman, says the judge, and the guy in the orange suit gets the guilty. It's like, it's fucking horrible to watch. It's obvious. First time I ever sat through one of those with a friend, I was like, dear God, you ever get arrested for anything, don't even think anyone cares anything about what happened to you if you're not sitting there with your attorney.
Right.
Private one, not the public defender.
Gymnastics life. Our youngest will be 2, but the 5 will be schooling. Our ages are 4 to 9. Wow. He has 6 kids between the ages of 2 and 9. Congratulations. That's amazing. You're a lucky man. Oh my goodness, I'm so far behind. I had something here I wanted to show you. You're going to love this. This is going to be no shock to you, but this is the kind of shit. This is the American Heart Association pushing back against SNAP spending. American Heart Association has accepted funds from Kellogg and Pepsi and from big pharma companies as well, those who profits would tank if this bill passed. This is a major conflict of interest and completely corrupt. This is a bill. This is they're discussing whether you should be able to use food stamps to buy sugary foods. Here we go.
And say that I can never be surprised in this building, but for the American Heart Association to be against this bill.
SB 379 seeks to remove soda, candy, potato and corn chips, and cookies from the list of items eligible for purchase with SNAP.
My name is Alec Puente, and I'm the Director of Government Relations for the American Heart Association. I'm here to testify today in opposition to Senate Bill 379.
I would encourage you to look at what it restricts.
The Heart Association is concerned about potential impacts of this bill on participation and population health. Imposing nutritional restrictions will interfere with the primary function of SNAP, reducing hunger, without reducing root causes of chronic disease.
I'm here because I want to support the children on this program and protect them from the chronic disease that sugar will lead them to develop. actually advocated for this bill in Arizona and was shocked by the big soda companies sending their own person to come and advocate for the fact that there's no correlation between soda consumption and obesity, which is just a straight up lie.
I often say that I can never be surprised in this building, but for the American Heart Association to be against this bill.
SB 379.
So it's interesting, right? I was wondering where you fall on this, because obviously, you know, there's the whole slippery slope thing. What are they going to ban next? Are they going to ban hamburgers next? Food stamps? But it is pretty crazy that the American Heart Association is weighing in on it to block it. And they're not even saying anything. They're saying that they're concerned that people won't get food if you don't let them buy cookies. I mean, that's just horseshit. Doug Reed, I don't think soda chips help with hunger. It's utter nonsense. You know, if you look at the numbers, it's something crazy. Like 50% of food stamps are used to purchase soda. It's basically the U.S. government is subsidizing soda completely. Between the subsidization of sugar and food stamps, it's basically our tax dollars are like the most significant purchaser of fucking Coca-Cola on the planet.
I would just slightly rather take advice on heart disease from the American Heart Association than I would Coca-Cola.
You put them at par with each other.
And I see them as partners.
Yeah. I mean, that's
the
what
American Heart Association has been a problem for public health for 60 years, however long it's been around. I mean,
I know you don't like to.
Been through a lot of this at CrossFit with in 2019. Their history, their legacy is a tainted one, and it's one of corruption, especially in relationship with the American Beverage Association and sugar. Right?
Yeah. But what do you think about just? I know you're not for taking people's freedoms away. I know that you're all for free markets, that you have no issues with Coca-Cola bringing their drinks to market and selling them, and it's people's responsibility on how they want to spend the money. But what about government money?
Well, how about this? I don't know if I like the government buying hamburger for people, but okay. Soda pop? Fuck no. I mean, can't I kind of have a nuanced and graded sense of this thing? I mean, look, you know what was happening with the what's it called? What's the acronym for
SNAP? SNAP?
Yeah, with the
EBT,
the EBT card date issuing, the account issuance dates moved enormous volumes of 12-pack soda down to Florida, where it gets converted to OxyContin and fentanyl and such, and then driven back north where it's sold. And they'd actually calculated the soda is so fungible that it works as a good currency in the whole drug trade. And so the entirety of the EBT accounts, big chunks of it get these gas stations would set up these pyramids, these mountains of cans of soda. You can't counterfeit it. You know, it's as good as currency. And they actually were able to figure out that in the urban and rural markets, you could get a blowjob for a couple of 12 packs. It's kind of the standard.
They drugs with EBT.
Yeah, they measured it. Yeah, and so I'm not excited about doing that with the taxpayers' money.
But what about this? The libtards get in office, and you kind of taught me this kind of thinking. The libtards getting off. This is kind of along with the hate speech. The libtards get in office, and next thing you know, all you can buy with EBT is fake meat. Like, you know what I mean? Near meat.
Yep.
And they're like, hey, this is that we're only going to allow people to buy healthy shit, and it's going to be Bill Gates's lab grown meat, fake crab meat. And
I would expect to see that.
I guess another thing you could do is you could just stop SNAP. You could just stop the food stamp, the whole thing, and the problem would completely go away. Maybe you'd have another problem. There's Jake Chapman's asking for a handout from you. Let's see what he's pitching to you. Dear Greg, I'm penning a modern take on an American classic, but with a twist. Would Greg be willing to support the launch of Death of a Dildo Salesman?
Yeah, you have my support.
Greg will write the forward for you. He'll have one of his people write the forward for you. What was there was one other topic I have to bring up. But what? It's something that's in the news right now. Not the border, not the Heart Association. I can't remember. I thought I wrote it down in my notes. College. Oh, yes. Oh, what can I say? What can I say on college campuses? Like, what's your take on? There's all this thing about how the U.S. government is blocking freedom of speech, but I don't think you should be able to go into a Starbucks and yell like "I hate kikes" or "fuck all Mexicans." It's like someone owns that store, and like they should be able to control. You know, and you shouldn't be able to yell in the store. There's like, if you own the place, you get to make rules, right? So a campus is a place where people pay money to go learn. And if there's people there blocking you from getting the services that you paid for from the campus, shouldn't those people be booted off the campus? I feel like there's this huge conflation going on in the news now. And like, I don't see freedom of speech giving me the right to pass out shit my pants in front of your business and lay on the sidewalk. Yeah, me neither.
Or to play your ghetto blaster on the campus loud outside of the classroom. None of that seems like First Amendment stuff for me.
Like if you want to get on a soapbox, go to a public park and you know, and preach whatever you want to preach. Like this breaking of windows and taking over buildings, this is fucking insane. I don't understand how anyone's defending that. Am I missing something? How is the left defending this shit?
You have to understand something. They don't want to say that they don't value free speech. And they don't. But they. I mean, theirs is a tough road to hoe. They would ban things from the newspaper, from the college newspaper, for sure.
Right, and from social media.
So to make it look like that they're not curtailing rights, they'll have public protests.
You're not allowed to say I have the cure for cancer on social media. They'll come after you. The government will come after you, but you are allowed to say death to Jews. It's fucking wild. I haven't been following the story of the guy they grabbed. There's some guy that's kind of at the epicenter of this. I don't know why they grabbed him. I don't know what his history is, but there's some guy who's organizing some shit, a Syrian-born pro-Palestinian guy on Columbia University, and they've nabbed his ass, and he's kind of become like the poster child for this. I haven't followed the story very closely. That's just the big picture I've heard.
I heard a reading of the law that would allow the Secretary of State to deport him, and it seemed a reasonable application to me.
Rubio's?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a piece of shit, Hamas supporting dipshit. Yeah, but I probably agree with that, but I'm not sure what law he broke. But do you have any tolerance, like, for people 1,000 people going on campus and stopping kids from going to class?
None.
Yeah, I don't have any tolerance for that either. How come we're not seeing water cannons? I still don't understand why we're not seeing water cannons.
You want the fire hose treatment?
Yeah, I just think it makes for great video, and it's really harsh, but it looks kind of benign because it's just water. But people get fucking, like, I mean, you can take out huge swaths of people quickly. No one wants to get hit by those. Fucking snap your neck off. Like, if I'm UCLA, I have fucking 10 of those trucks lined up just at all times. They're not expensive. I looked online. You can buy one for $150,000 from China, like on Temu.
A fire truck?
Just a water cannon, a truck with a water cannon on it that holds 4,500 gallons with steel cages on the windows. You want one?
I'll be damned.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Wouldn't that be a fun thing to do? Wouldn't you like to man a water cannon in a fucking riot situation? It would be pretty gratifying.
I enjoyed the guy that had the Swiss ball out on the skating rink, and with all the little kids.
And he was bowling them over?
Dude, I get these spinning hook shots from 150 feet away.
That on YouTube?
Yeah, it was.
Did he get in trouble for that, or that was part of the game?
I think it's a game.
Oh.
It's a Canadian thing. I'm not sure how they play. They have a whole different culture.
They do.
I think they're trying to get that made an Olympic sport.
Jethro, trust me, the NYPD would want nothing more than to lock them all up, bring plenty of overtime money. Yeah, I'm totally fine with, like, fencing off a park and throwing all those people in there. Brian Clark, I experienced that at the skating rink.
You know, I take the money from the institution. They'll solve the problem.
Oh.
They would pay Brinks money to beat those kids mercilessly, private security, before they'll give up that money. They released a statement immediately that they were willing to work with they were eager to work with the Trump administration and restore their money by any means possible as soon as possible. I mean, they yielded immediately. Watch. Are they protesting today? Is it still going on?
I don't know. I just don't have any tolerance. Like, here's the thing. I have tolerance for it, but I don't. But there should be equal repercussions. The people protecting the campus should be able to use equal force. So if you want to gather 1,000 of your friends and run through campus and protest that, like, your campus sells Coke and you want them only to sell bottled water to save the kids, cool. Run through campus and do that. But some of you are going to get fucking picked off by the authorities with water cannons, billy clubs, and shit like that. And it has to be a fucking equal fight. You can't be terrorizing and shutting down businesses, and the colleges are businesses, and then scream you have freedom of speech. It's like carjacking someone and saying you have freedom of speech. It's like, how did you make that stretch? I just don't get it. I don't even get it a little bit.
But you don't want to miss the point that you paid for the whole fucking thing. It cost you $400 million to do that. And to teach people to hate this country, and that being white is evil, and that men should be able to chop off their dicks call themselves women and play in women's sports.
It's ended in the UK. Oh, it's only begun. My Israeli friend's daughter is at Oxford last year. Was awful for her. Now she has no issues and is back. No. Jakey. You couldn't be further from the truth. Let me show you what's going on in your country.
What is he saying? The kids, when they come back home, they normal up?
No, he's suggesting that in the UK they used to have that problem with protesters on campus, and now it's all better. Let me show you what's going on in the UK here. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. Can you hear the TV? Can you hear the computer? Okay.
By soft jihad. The mayor of London is a Muslim. The mayor of Birmingham is a Muslim. The mayor of Leeds is Muslim. Mayor of Blackburn, Muslim. The mayor of Sheffield is a Muslim. The mayor of Oxford is a Muslim. The mayor of Luton is a Muslim. The mayor of Oldham is Muslim. The mayor of Rochdale is Muslim. All this was achieved by only 4 million Muslims out of 66 million people in England. Today, there are over 1,800 mosques in England. There are over 80 Sharia courts. There are more than...
What the fuck is a Sharia court? They have a Sharia court?
50 Sharia councils. 78% of Muslim women do not work, receive state support and free accommodation.
78% of Muslim women in the UK don't work and receive money from the fucking UK.
A large percentage of Muslims do not work and receive state support and free housing. State-supported Muslim families with an average of 3 to 8 children receive free accommodation here. Now, every school in the UK is required to teach lessons about Islam.
At what point does England stop being England? I would say that's already happened in places like London, where you have a minority white English.
This is how you take...
Holy shit. Unfucking real. I don't know, Jake. I don't know what's gonna happen over there, dude. I don't know what's gonna happen. If 78% of the women in that country are unemployed, and they're getting money from the government for housing and food, I mean, Greg, this thing said that there were 80 Sharia courts in the UK. I don't understand how that is. I don't even know what a Sharia court is.
Are they official?
That's a good question. Or you mean like just the neighborhood goes there and lets them figure out their issues for them?
Some overlap.
Caller, hi. Caller?
The last time this happened in New York at Columbia.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
The Palestinian protest happened. They actually took over multiple buildings. And the professor didn't know what the hell to do after the mayor said, we got to get the NYPD in there. The NYPD got in there, took everyone out within the night. They did it at night. They actually climbed up through the buildings and just kicked everyone out, arrested them all. And guess who footed the bill?
The city.
The college.
Oh, wow. Was this recent?
The NYPD. It was over the winter. Like
Footed the bill for the removal?
Yep.
So then
they gave
go ahead.
The NYPD gave the bill to the Columbia University and said, this is our overtime cost. This is what it costs to do it. You pay it.
And they paid it.
And they paid it, Jethro? Hello? Jethro? Oh, hold on. Sorry, go ahead, Jethro. And they paid it? I think he's there. Jethro, did they pay it?
Yeah. Yeah, they paid it.
Yeah. Hey, let me explain something. Columbia University would make research lab animals out of Palestinians for $400 million.
Columbia would.
For sure.
Of course they would. Of course they would. There ain't nothing they wouldn't do. That's why I said they'll pay private. They pay private security to decapitate them. They do. There is nothing they wouldn't do for $400 million. Nothing. Wrap yourself
You
around
have
that.
the right.
The deal's been struck. Trump won. That was a checkmate. Oh yeah, protest? Fuck you. No money. Protest over.
Yeah, similarly,
It's $400 million,
counties-
Sebby. What do you think you can do for $400 million?
Yeah.
They didn't mean any of that.
Yeah.
They don't believe any of this shit. It's the $400 million. You have to understand that's a lot of money. Don't just hear it. It's like people could, what do you mean Pol Pot killed 6 million people? That's not possible. You know what I mean? No. It's
Right.
$400 million.
Go ahead, Jethro. Sorry.
we all know that New York is very liberal. Even Mayor Adams, to his benefit, like he's been getting a little bit more red pilled now. But before that happened, the counties to the east of New York, Nassau and Suffolk, where I live, they got wind of all this protesting. And on any state campus or any campus, you were not allowed to even start a protest. The second you started a protest, the cops came in and got rid of you. They didn't want any of that stuff happening over here. So you just need the right leadership involved, and this stuff doesn't happen. Get the bricks.
Hey, does Columbia have isn't Columbia just spread out all over Manhattan? They don't really have a campus, right? They're just everywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of, I think it's like Berkeley. Isn't Berkeley like that, all spread out?
No, not really. I mean, it's sprawling, but there is a hub, and it all basically, like, you could get anywhere on campus from, with adjacent pieces of property they own. Berkeley.
Yeah, similar.
Okay.
Yeah, similar. Julie, my wife actually went to Columbia, and that's, she hung out over there, and she went there. Same thing. The buildings are connected. There's like a main center. You can get there by bus, by train.
Hey, what's going to happen to the mayor's council? Don't they hate him? Isn't there going to be a huge dispute now between the council, the New York City's council and the mayor, like the kind of the borough leaders?
They did not like that Adams met with Trump and Homan, and they really want to get him out now. And everyone's jockeying for position. And Andrew Cuomo is putting his hat into the ring now, and he's actually up by 20% in the polls to take over the city mayoral position.
That's the guy, the COVID killer.
Yeah, he's back. He's probably going to win again.
They
want Adams out bad?
Wasn't he governor of New York, and they booted him for like hooking up with chicks or something?
Yep. We forgot so quickly.
And then Hochul replaced him?
Yep. And she's going to win again because everyone loves her.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get a Republican governor in California.
Oh God, I hope so.
He won't be able to do anything because the entire fucking the rest of the guys in the Capitol are all libs, but at least it'll slow shit down.
Yeah, you're super majority over there. Good luck.
All right. Thanks, dude.
Thanks, Jeff.
Love you guys.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he is a good dude. Been a cop for a long time. I think over 20 years. All right. Any plans today?
Yeah, I mean, what are you doing?
Nothing. I'm going to get off the air here with you in a minute, and I'm watching the kids do their schoolwork. Okay. Yeah, I'd love to do that. Is your house hustling and bustling already?
There's some stuff going on. We had that carpet cleaning from a sick kid.
Oh, that's right. How is she this morning?
I'm sorry?
How is she this morning?
I've yet to see her.
Okay.
But we've done this thing with the other kids. It feels like it's like some neighbor dog that shits on the porch. You know exactly where it came from. You know what I mean? 48 hours of can't keep anything down, then it goes away.
At some point, I got to pack today. I'm driving home tomorrow. It's gonna be a slog. Is it raining today? It was raining all night. I heard rain. It's still raining.
Yeah, I think there's plans for rain tomorrow.
Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy drive tomorrow. It's pouring in Santa Cruz too.
It's not that bad on the interstate.
You mean because the roads are good?
Yeah, I don't know. Just I
But
like
it's
driving.
just 12 hours in the rain. Yeah, I guess it won't be bad. We got a nice car. All right, dude. Thank you. I'll see you in a little bit for breakfast. I'll give you a call in a little bit.
All right, pal. Bye, everyone.
All right. Thanks for coming on, Greg. Bye. 66 shows with Greg Glassman in the books. Yeah. It was very, you're traveling on 25.3 lame. Dude, you don't even know how lame it is. And that's all my fault. I shit the bed on that. I shit the bed on. Okay, so it's a wet wall. So that's the wall walks, right? Or is that a wet ground? No, it's a wet wall. Is that a wall or the ground? No, it's a wall because the drips are going down. So it's wet. It's wet. Wet wall. So that's wall walks, and then the water is rowing, right? Because it's water. And so it's wall walks and rowing. That's what it is, right there. There you go. Franco, thanks for having him on so often. Yeah, I'm pretty lucky and fortunate that Greg's committed to this. It's pretty crazy that he does it. I can't believe I honestly did not think it would go on this long. And I think I saw today's show was number 66. I think he's been on a couple times with Matt. It's cool. Holy shit. Grant made it onto Dave's Instagram. Wow. This dude looks like Chris Spieler all juiced up. ¿Cómo sobrevivir al CrossFit Open? ¿Cómo sobrevivir? I read better in Spanish than English. All right. See if there's anything I need to. I think there was one thing I wanted to share with you guys. All right.
We call people who are not circumcised uncircumcised. We made up a word for them that doesn't need to exist. We have all the words. It's circumcised and dick. We don't call people ungay. It's just gay and going to heaven. There's two very I don't make up the rules, guys. Take that up with the Jews.
Love you, Sebi. Love you too, Heidi. Good to see you guys this morning. Thursday. I don't know what's going on today. Have fun, everyone. To those of you who are going out of your way to spread the hate, I hope you take a day of rest. Just chill. Okay, it's not a big deal. No, in my mind, it's all. Just talking to someone about this yesterday. It's you know when you play with a laser pointer with a cat and the cat's like running around going crazy and the cat takes that shit serious. It's trying to catch it. And for you, it's just like funny as shit. And then you turn the laser pointer off, and next thing you know, like you're picking your nose or taking a shit or watching TV, and it was like nothing to you. But you don't feel bad for the cat. But if I'm saying stuff on this show that's like getting you so fucking spun up, that like when this show's over, you should be done with it. Like don't let anything on this show spin you up. Just know that like if you were in front of me at the store and you didn't have money to pay for your sandwich, I'd pay for you. It's fine. Like that none of it's a big deal. Like if I call you a fucking cunt, it doesn't matter. It's just a joke. Everything is just a joke. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if you're training and you don't get to be in the right section in your, in the, where you want to compete. It's just, this is the bullshit take. You love trolling the left. Yeah, I don't understand how it's a bullshit take. I love trolling the left too, of course. I love doing it. I only love and argue. Yeah, I don't hate. Well, I feel bad because there's so many people who watch this show. I feel bad's not the right word, but this can just be fun. I know. For some people, some people have some real hardship in their life. Like they got fucked up. They fucked their kids up and they can't go back. You know what I mean? I heard someone saying something like that the other day, that they want to have another kid so that they get another shot at it. You know what I mean? Or like Elon's situation. He gave his kids fucking transitioning meds and fucked his kid up. And like, he's got to live with that burden the rest of his life. I mean, there's some fucked up shit that happens, right? People out there dying of cancer, shit like that. But like nothing on this show. If this show is causing you problems after like I go off the air, don't let it. Don't be stupid. It's just fun. It's all just drama. It's just a narrative. It's like a play. It's just the most real play. It's just the fun play. This is the 2 best hours of my day. Good. Yeah, it's just entertainment. Don't get all twisted. It's a distraction. Sure. Fine. Yeah. Like let's say I saw this list the other day. God, this list is so funny. Do you want to know the people who did Grid League? Let me send you let me read you this list of the people. These are the people that did Grid League. Noah Olson, Kenny Leverich, Con Porter, Brooke Wells, Jamie Hagaya, Marcus Philly, Elizabeth Akinwale, Nick Urankar, Alex Smith, Elijah Muhammad, Annie Thorsdottir, Danny Spiegel, Sam Dancer, and Matt Fraser. And that's cool. They did Grid League and good on them. But Grid League still it missed the mark by by 99.9% of what they were hoping. And that's okay. You know, they took a stab at it. They fucking, I don't know how much they lost. Allegedly they lost like $30 million in a year. They had their inaugural event at Madison Square Garden. They had the best athletes in the space at the time when CrossFit was at its peak, and it wasn't enough. And if it would have done great, that would have been fine too. And if the WBL fucking kills it and murders it and makes fucking millions of fucking dollars and it becomes the next thing, and it's this whole next thing you know, it's like as big as fucking ice hockey. That's a sport, right? Good on them. And I'll take credit for talking about them so much and giving them attention that made them famous. I mean, that's whatever. If I think they're not going to make it, me talking about them not making it's just great for them too. If John Woolley does or doesn't beat off to Danny Spiegel, doesn't it's just funny. Next week on Saturday we will be doing a new poll. We're going to put up my name, Pedro's name, Taylor's name, Sousa's name, and the poll is going to be which one of us beats off to Danny Spiegel. Because you know one of us does. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.